Welcome to Detox Your Daily Habits, the show where we have raw and vulnerable conversations around spirituality, get real about how messy personal growth is, and bring to light the truths of how hard it is to break through your limiting beliefs in order to trust your higher self.
Hi guys, welcome back to Detox episode 7, right?
Yay,
7?
Yeah, we're on 7.
Heck yeah.
So exciting.
Yeah, we are super excited about it. And actually, before we get into this, I do want to mention that I think we are going to do this podcast in seasons. And after season 10...
Well, episode 10.
Oh, sorry. After season
10, baby!
After episode 10, we're going to take a step back to realign.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what we're talking about here today in this episode is realignment and how you really can pivot and redirect yourself at any point in your life. It doesn't matter how far back you've gone, how far into a certain journey you've done. You can always stop, self-reflect, evaluate where you're at, and really pivot and move and redirect to wherever you want to go. And that's kind of our thought process in taking a small break after episode 10 so that we can start season 2 and regroup and come back a little more focused and a little more committed to this particular project.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the beginning we definitely wanted to start, and I'm glad that we started,
Yeah, I'm beyond proud of us and this community we're building right now.
Yeah, absolutely proud of you guys for tuning in too every week or every other week. And we also have even thought about doing it weekly. So let us know what you think about that. We want all of your opinions and any feedback that you can give us as well. But we definitely want to realign, organize, and come back stronger.
Yeah, absolutely.
And more consistent, really.
Yes.
In all aspects.
Which is the beautiful thing about life is we can do that whenever we want. And I know, speaking for myself right now, I've been in a really weird season of kind of self-doubt and really out of alignment with a lot of the things that I started in form of habits over the beginning of the year. And that's kind of why we're talking about this week. I think it's relevant for a lot of us. We get in a very good roll on things. We're feeling really good. We're in a season of thrive. And then all of a sudden something happens and we take a step back and we slowly start to go backwards or drop out of the things we're doing that benefit us and serve us. And I know, especially in this realm, a lot of times for me, I go back to old habits that served the past version of me and didn't do anything for this future version I'm creating right now. And that is something that honestly is part of the journey. Failure is part of every success. Every time that happens, there's usually something out of, we're either uncomfortable. I know Dakota and I talked about this the other day on how, for me, success is uncomfortable. Not being in a situation, like I had to talk to myself about it because for a long time I have focused on my fitness journey and weight loss, and I just had the realization lately that I don't know really who I am when I don't have that direction. When I'm not fully focused on just fitness, it's like my body doesn't know how to react, and I subconsciously bring myself to a point where I have to focus on my fitness again.
Yeah, you got to start. It's almost like starting your journey over. And if you think about it, like that's a pattern, like a loop in your life that you keep on repeating because you have yet to learn the lesson.
Absolutely. And I listened to a podcast. God, it was at the beginning of the year, and I think the podcast is Cosmic Body, but I know for sure that the gentleman that was being interviewed was Dr. Tommy John. And he mentions these 8 essential habits to stay in alignment with yourself and to stay in a conscious living period. And I have had them posted on our freaking fridge ever since I heard the podcast. And even with that being said, we still, I was reading over him today and I'm like, man, I'm actually out of alignment in every single area that he talks on. And I think that's important to realize that it happens to all of us. We all have moments where we're doing really well and moments when we're not. Healing isn't linear. We've said that many times on this podcast, but it truly is a roller coaster of everything. And it can be very overwhelming to be doing a lot of inner work. And also trying to up-level your life when it's uncomfortable and it's the unknown. And so I just want to talk a little bit about these 8 things that, honestly, I can speak on it, and I'm sure Dakota can as well. Whenever we were doing really well, all of these things had a place in our schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And so the number one thing we're going to talk about is a belief in something greater than yourself. And that is whatever means to you.
Yeah.
Whatever religion, whatever spirituality you follow, whatever person, God, whatever. That is a personal choice. I know we both have different views on that, and it was similar, but I believe in a Godiverse, the universe. But that is just whatever practice that suits you. So whatever that means to you. Just a belief in something greater than yourself.
Yeah, I just kind of want to add that, again, just to reiterate that spirituality isn't a religion. And so, you have spiritual practices within each religion that you uphold and you believe in. So, just to reiterate that even though you're listening to this podcast doesn't mean that you somehow stop believing in your God, or who you believe in. You can still continue to listen and understand and be on this growth journey with us, as well as believing in your own God.
Absolutely. It's all with spirituality and spirituality practices and tools we use, everything is a pick your own path situation. All these things you pick out that suit you, your journey, and your needs, and that it feels right to you, comfortable to you, inspirational to you. Everyone's path is different, especially in that realm.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing is your relationships with, whether it be a partner, whether it be your friends, your family, you have relationships with all these people. Even the strangers you meet on the side of the road, it's a relationship. And so you have to evaluate that from time to time and really step back and look how is your relationship with the people that you want in your life? How is your relationship with strangers you meet on the street? How do you treat people? How do you treat yourself? How do you have a relationship with yourself? Do you have a good relationship? And if that place is out of alignment, chances are you're going to feel off. A lot of things are going to feel off. And so it's important to keep kind of tabs on how you have people in your life.
Yeah, how you feel personally too. But especially when it comes to strangers, because I feel oftentimes I won't speak for everyone, but oftentimes I can be quick to judge instead of come with compassion. And in those moments, when I get very agitated in that time of my life, I know I'm probably getting agitated quickly with myself as well. So it's good to reflect on that. And if that is the situation for you, then, understand that maybe you need to do a little more work or dig deeper into who you are in that moment. For instance, I feel like a couple weeks ago I talked about being with my family, and it was really hard for me to be around them. But it's this past week I went with my family and I didn't really get agitated with them very often. It was it just depends on where you're at personally, because you reflect onto other people. It's all a reflection in a mirror. So it's really important how you treat others. Come with compassion, because when you come with compassion for everyone else, you should come with compassion for yourself as well, and set boundaries.
Absolutely. And we're people. We need others around us. We want others around us. And like Dakota said, how you treat strangers is a huge reflection on how you feel about yourself. Yeah. And it's hard, and I'm the same. A lot of times I catch myself being judgmental at first, or having my own stories up in my head about people. But when I've come from a place of compassion and really led that, even with the store clerks I come across or whatever, I find that my days just go better. I feel better. I'm happier. Have more joy. It's so much more rewarding to lead with compassion, especially with the people in your life and even strangers. It just is way more rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
And the third important thing, and this one is a really big one for me, I find that if I don't have some kind of exercise or movement in my life, everything else kind of just gets off really quick. And when it comes to exercise, movement, it's whatever. It's another one of those things that whatever suits you. whether it's dance, whether it's walking around your neighborhood, whether it's actually going to the gym and lifting weights or just going for a run. It's just about moving your body. Mm-hmm. Having movement in your day-to-day is healing. It's beneficial.
Yeah, movement is medicine in all aspects. So, you know, even if it's just like 10, 15 minutes of your day, like try to get moving. And, you know, maybe you're at work all day on your feet. That is movement, but like try to do it in a headspace where like, you know, maybe that you're focused on you or nature or in the moment, you know, something that reflects onto you. I feel like movement is medicine whenever we set intention as well. So
yeah, absolutely. And another one she mentioned, which we'll go on to another big one and we'll make it number 4, is nature exposure. It's a double whammy if you can do movement outside as well, but sun and being in nature and getting all of that energy in you is so important. It's so important. I know I can speak on it. I'm sure many of you can. If you've ever gone on a hike or just stepped outside and felt the sun on your skin, it's like you feel better. Mm-hmm. You just instantly have energy. You have all these feelings that are just like, wow. It's so simple, but it's such a huge move.
Yeah, it's so impactful. I feel like every time I step out in the sun, I'm like, wow, life is just beautiful. I know, I love the sun. I'm very much a sunny, hot type of person.
Me too.
Don't get me wrong, winter is beautiful too, I guess. But I'm just kidding. All aspects of life is beautiful. But, like, I'm definitely a sun person. Like, as soon as I step out in the sun, I feel like a new person. Like, a breath of fresh air has hit me.
Yeah, I definitely am the same way. Like, when I have a habit of starting my mornings with a run outside by the lake or down by this park I really like here in Dallas, it's 10 out of 10 starts my day like off on the right foot.
Yeah.
I definitely, and my boyfriend's actually really big on nature. Like, he has to get out in nature. It's like his number one thing to do that he really enjoys, because it brings a sense of, you know, you ground yourself outside. We are a part of nature. Mm-hmm. We need to be out there, or we want to be out there, and really just soaking it all up. Nature is just like movement. It's medicine. Mm-hmm. It's God's medicine to this planet.
Yes, absolutely.
And then that also comes with number 5, which is going to be sleep, naps, or proper rest. In our society, we are so hell-bent on the hustle culture that we don't take into account how important it is to rest.
Yeah. Get
proper sleep. Take naps during the day. If you that's something that's possible. Some people it obviously isn't, but we have to put more focus on our rest. Our bodies need rest. We need periods of rest sometimes, like actual seasons of it. We are seasonal creatures. Not everything is going to be all 100% all the time. Our bodies just weren't meant for that, but we live in a society that is very much like
hustle and bustle, and
yeah, it's definitely one of those. It's super hard because I'm one of these people where I feel like if I'm not in constant movement, then I'm not being productive. And
I feel that.
It's definitely hard because everyone like praises each other and drinks a shit ton. I'm one of those people. I used to brag about my triple shifts and being able to work on 2 hours of sleep, but like I was not healthy doing that. It's not healthy doing that.
No, it's not. And to each their own, you know, like whatever time your nap time is or your rest time is, like that's for you, but at least like take that time for yourself. Like I know, like for me, if I don't get enough sleep at night, and Danielle's supposed to wake me up in the mornings because we like to work out in the mornings before anytime we do the podcast. But like last night, I couldn't really sleep. I took caffeine kind of late because I drove home from Corpus. And so, like, I didn't really sleep last night. And when she came to my room to wake me up, I was just like, I need more rest. Like, I know I need more rest. I haven't slept enough. And, like, I really try not to, like, diminish any of my rest. I'm very much a rest person. I love to sleep, honestly. So, anytime I know I didn't get enough sleep, I will take that time to sleep. I don't care if it's 5 minutes before I have to get up. Like, I will do it.
No, and then that's healthy. And to know, like, her awareness of her body and her needs is so important. Like, to be aware of your own. Like, some people do just fine on smaller amounts of sleep with naps in between. Some people don't like naps, but they'll sleep a long time. Life is a personal preference, baby. You don't have to follow one person's habits or routines or anything like that. It's just about picking out what works for you, what resonates with you, what doesn't, and being aware of your body and how it responds to things and what it needs to really be nourished.
Yeah, especially like when it comes to, I'm not sure if we've already talked about this, but me and Danielle just talk about so much stuff. But like for instance, I think we have. Like you may be a night person and the person next to you may be a morning person and you feel like, oh, guilty because you're not waking up at 5 a.m. but yet you're up until 3 a.m. It's like, that doesn't really make sense for you to get up that early anyway. So it's just really whatever pertains to you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Dakota and I are complete opposites in that. I really enjoy waking up super fucking early and doing things in the early wee hours, and she stays up later and she sleeps in later, but it works for her and it works for me, vice versa. And like, there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has different time periods that they're meant to be doing something. I know, so I want to say it's Sahara Rose. She talks about how she's also a nighttime creative. She likes to create at night. She likes
3 a.m. kind of thing.
Yeah, she likes to stay up late and sleep in all morning. I am most creative early morning when I first wake up. So it's all about what works for you, baby. And speaking of nourishment, that is number 6 on this list is nourishment. And nourishment isn't exactly just your food. Mm-hmm. It is the TV shows you intake, the music you listen to, the people you're around, the knowledge you take in, and of course, your food. Mm-hmm. Proper nourishment is so vital to how you feel. And that was something when I was extremely overweight and didn't understand that concept because I ate so terribly, that when people were like, oh, I feel like shit because I ate like shit all day, I would literally roll my eyes and be like, oh, you know, my own ego. Here's my ego. But once I started getting really into fitness and realizing the difference in how you feel, not only mentally but physically, when you eat nourishing foods and not just trash all day long, whoo, was I mistaken. It definitely makes a huge difference. And I know for a fact Dakota can relate because we talk about it all the time when we're off, like right now. This morning we talked about how we wanted to get back on track with our food and
getting rid of the TV for a while.
Yeah.
And, you know, start listening to better music and...
because it all really has an effect.
Reading more books.
Yeah, no, really, it has your nourishment in all of those areas really has an effect on your everyday life, how you feel about yourself, your mindset. When all of these are out of whack for me, my mindset is so far gone. I feel defeated. I am 100% give up mode. Just like, it's such a weird contrast and such a like crazy thing. Like I was telling Dakota yesterday, because I really stuck to my routines yesterday and did all the things that I've been wanting to get back on track with. And I was like, damn, I feel so good and full of so much gratitude. And that's only after one day of being in alignment with all these things. And it's such a powerful thing, like the switch you can make from day to day.
Yeah, even if it's just like for 15 minutes of your day or 10 minutes of your day, like if you feel that it's good for, you know, realignment, then put it in if you can, you know. Don't beat yourself up if you can't. Tomorrow's a new day, but definitely like try your best, because I feel like same with Danielle, anytime that I'm out of whack and then I just slightly get back into it, my mindset is 100% better. But let's, you know, remember that mindset is a big portion of it, but it's not everything. Like sometimes we can't mindset our way out of things. So it is important to, you know, step into things like, which is another one, which would be meditation, which is number 7, correct? Yeah. So meditation is obviously something that is, you know, does wonders for you. There's a whole bunch of health effects that it creates. One being, you know, clearing a little bit of the mind so you're not so overthink-ish. I don't even think that's a word, but you know what I mean? Like, you're not constantly overthinking. Meditation does help you clear your mind a bit, help you realign with, you know, what you want and how you feel and what you should be doing, and or what, you know, you're meant to be doing in the moment.
Yeah, meditation for me is definitely one of those things that is a practice. It is, for everyone, meditation is called a meditation practice or prayer practice, whatever you want to call it. But it is one of those things that it takes some time. You're not, the first time you ever do it, be easy on yourself. Lead with compassion, because it's something that you have to kind of figure out for yourself. And like again, everyone's different on what works. Meditation isn't just sitting down on the floor with your hands on your knees saying some mantra. There's a lot of different forms of meditation. I encourage you to look into them. There's dance meditation, there's regular running meditation, right, walking meditation, and whatever works for you it's another one of those things that I was skeptical at first, but once I really incorporated it into my routines, I was like, man, this is really helpful for me. And I feel like a lot of people that try meditation the first few times and then get into a practice, they're like, wow, powerful.
Yeah, but in the beginning it is a little odd. I actually remember my first time meditating was actually kind of a crazy experience for me, because I was focusing on my breath, and I almost felt like this, I don't know, not enlightenment, but my body was feeling some type of way. It was different, completely different. And that shocked me. From then it took off for me. I loved it, but I still love it. But it's definitely something that, everyone, I'm sure, not, I won't speak for everyone, but for myself, I tend to get out of practice with it sometimes. And it's not that I don't want to do it. It's just that my head clicks when I wake up in the morning. I'm like, oh, I'm late. I got to do this. I don't have time for that. But it's no, you really need to make time for the things that are going to make you better throughout your day.
Yeah, and the thing about all of these that we're speaking on today, none of them are ever going to be 100% all balanced and a perfect practice. It's just not going to be that way. And that's okay. It's just about taking inventory on each and really being okay, what do I feel is most out of whack? What do I feel most needs to be reevaluated, realigned with? I don't want a bunch of people okay, writing all 7 of these down to me, or 8 of these down and being oh my gosh, they're all out of alignment. Or, oh my gosh, I am really good here, but I am not doing any of this. That's okay. It's not ever going to be a perfect pie chart. Just breathe and relax. All you got to do is just check them out every now and then, and, take some time to sit with yourself and really get into your body and feel what out of these 8 needs a little bit more attention.
Yeah.
A little bit more TLC. And the thing about it is, again, we'll talk, the last one is, number 8 will be your purpose, your why, and what emotional why keeps you going. Because everyone's got a why. Why do you get up every morning and do what you do? That is different for everyone. Might have to sit on that one for a while. Nobody knows. I know I struggle with that one sometimes. I know exactly what I'm doing, but...
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And so don't get caught up on that one. I almost wanted to not even mention it, because I feel like everyone is searching for their purpose all the time, but we do have to kind of have a purpose in life, and our own personal, not I was brought on this earth to sing and dance, but what is your emotional connection to something? Emotionally, I want to reach my goals because I want to have freedom with my family and my friends, and sometimes that's different.
And I will just mention that Eckhart Tolle, which is Tolle, I didn't even know that's how you said his last name, but he talks about how our actual purpose, our number 1 purpose, is to be doing whatever we're doing in the moment. Our number 2 purpose is the purpose for that purpose. I'm going to pick up my phone and call my mom because that's what I'm doing in the moment, but what's the purpose of that? Is to reach out and get a relationship, a better relationship with her. That's your second purpose. Right? And so that would be your overall purpose. I want a better relationship with my mother. So what I'm purposely doing in this moment is picking up the phone call or picking up the phone, So really if you don't know that overall purpose yet, just focus on the present moment, because that's literally all you ever have anyway. You never have the past or the future. It's always the present. So focus on, what's in front of you. What am I doing now in this moment? And, that is your purpose. whatever you're doing it for is that's the purpose. I'm picking this water because I'm thirsty. What's the purpose of that? So I hydrate my body and I'm nourished.
Oof. I love that.
Yeah.
Another take on that I really enjoyed was Trent Shelton. He talks about how not all of us have some huge, crazy, big purpose. Some of us, I know just some of us are the local bus driver and their purpose is to make everyone on the bus smile and happy, or the crosswalk guy. There's a crosswalk guy that does the school by our house, and every time I run past him and he's like waving at all the cars, he's the happiest guy I've ever seen in my life. And I always think about him when I think about that Trent Shelton thing, because his purpose really is to bring smiles to everybody that passes by. Like, he says hi, he talks to me, he gives me like encouragement on my runs. Every time I pass this guy, every morning, he has the same attitude, and I think about him all the time because I'm like, that's his purpose. But no one really sits there and is like, my purpose is to be a crosswalk guy. Like, not that there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just, we don't consider these small roles as big as they should be. We don't consider them a purpose-filled life because we're in a society that teaches us that the more money you make, that's your purpose.
Yeah. And honestly, sometimes we don't even realize we're already living our purpose. Like, we were listening to this podcast the other day, and man, I told this story. I've told the story to multiple people now, and like every time I want to cry speaking it, but like it's just about this young man who he wants to be a philanthropist because he wants to help other people. Like that's his initial goal. Well, he can't go to college because he doesn't have the money for it. So I don't know, somehow he gets a interview. On his way to the interview, he sees this lady crossing the street, drops all her groceries. He stops and picks it up, misses the interview. Well, the interview people are like, hey, we'll give you a second interview. He's like, okay, great. On his way to the second interview, he sees this little girl chasing this dog across the street, and she's about to be hit by a car. So he stops, pull over, and helps her. And he misses the second interview. Well, they feel he is just a slack, like not ready for the position. So they tell him he can't have another interview. Well, he's feeling like a failure, but the truth is he's always been a philanthropist. He's always been helping people. He's been doing it throughout his life. He never needed that title or that job or the description to tell him what he was already doing. So maybe look at yourself in that moment. Like, are you already being and doing your purpose without even realizing it? Because for a long time, I feel like I was in that position, like not understanding that I'm already living exactly what I want to be doing. It's about being present in the moment. Like, I am absolutely already helping people in a way of spreading information as much as I can about, mindset and personal development and spirituality and all the things. And I'm already a dancer at heart. Like, that's just who I am. Like, I'm already doing those things. I help people constantly. I'm already a great daughter. I'm already all of these things. I don't need to be looking for a title or for validation from other people to tell me what I'm already doing, which is living my purpose.
Ooh, amen, sis.
Yeah, and I hope that resonates with someone, because man, every time I tell that story, it leaves me with chills.
No, but it's 100% true. And like we have these moments where we're able to realize, like, we are right now, like, wow, we're already living. And then you will go through this process of like living all these highs, and then boom, you fall back into this weird rut where it's just like you don't feel any of that, or you don't feel like you're making any kind of growth, you're not making any kind of progress, you don't have a purpose, you don't have anything going for you. And that's just like kind of part of the journey and part of the process also. And you just have to come with a compassionate, again, love that word for us, but just like a moment where you can love yourself through those moments, because they serve a purpose in themselves.
Yeah.
You learn a lot. I know that I have come to some good real self-awareness and realization in those moments where I get on the other end and I'm kind of climbing back out of my hole, and I'm like, okay, what was the lesson there? And I always tend to find something that I can learn from and grow from and be like, okay, time to fresh start. Time for another fresh start. And that's the point in all of this, is like, these are habits you can take small baby steps with that will move mountains over a period of time. They
will get you quantum leaping, really, to like what you actually want to manifest into your life, or what you want in your life. So, you know, it kind of just comes back to like when you start to feel like, oh, I don't know what my purpose is, maybe see what's out of alignment in those 8 things, you know, like maybe something's out of alignment here because I'm feeling pretty shitty about myself right now.
Yes, 100%. And it's kind of just all part of this human experience, you know, the ups and the downs. We're never all going to feel 100% all the time, 100% positivity all the time. You're not going to wake up every single day with the same exact routine at the same exact time. I mean, there might be some people out there, kudos to you.
Yes.
If you do that without falling out. But I know that Dakota and I personally can't relate.
Not right now, hopefully in the future, but I'll let you know when that happens.
But like we were talking about how I texted her the other day about how everything's out of alignment. She felt like she hadn't really been doing a lot of her spiritual practices either. And I was in the same boat, and that's where we came to realize like it doesn't really matter because we can start right here, right now. And the same goes for you. At any point in time,
you fall off the wagon,
you can get back up on it and continue the ride. It's, you know, with a lot of success comes a lot of failures in between that no one really talks about, and that's okay.
And how the hell are you supposed to grow from anything if you don't fail at something?
Yeah, and we gotta be totally okay with failure because when we're trying new things, not everything's gonna work out.
And excuse the people next door taking a shower.
Those are those sounds. But the point is that you keep trucking. You keep getting back in that saddle and you keep riding it all the way to success, because eventually these gaps where you are in these small ruts will shrink. And you'll be able to bounce back quicker, and you'll be able to check yourself before you have backtracked too long. You will be able to stand back up and be like, okay, this area, boom, without even having to look at the list. You'll be like, oh, you know, I've been slacking on my meditation lately. Maybe that's where I'm feeling a little off. Or maybe something's off with a relationship, and you sit down and you're like, wow, I actually haven't talked to so-and-so in a very long time, and I feel like maybe I'm missing that connection and I need to reconnect.
Yeah.
Something like that, and that's just kind of what we have for you today.
Yeah. I also just kind of want to mention real quick that like sometimes with relationships, we often tell these stories in our heads before we can actually get the actual communication between you and that person. So it is important to, you know, maybe take a step back on all the stories that you're telling yourself and have a conversation. I know I often do this with people.
I do this all the time.
Yeah, that's the people pleaser or the, you know, being afraid to get hurt person in us.
Yeah, it's tricky. All of this is tricky, especially with spiritual growth. I feel like sometimes it can get overwhelming, and you can be like, wow, what the fuck is all of this? And it makes you want to take a step back and be like, no.
I'm good.
I'm just gonna go back over here where I was really fucking comfortable.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's okay too, to take, going full blown on a spiritual journey and inner healing is a lot. So always, again, refer back to that rest portion where you can take a step back and just rest out a little bit. You don't have to we're like plants. We're not constantly in season to be growing.
No.
So just be easy with yourself, and remember that it's never going to be perfect, and that makes it perfect, because that's how this human experience goes. Trial, error, repeat.
Yep. Until maybe you get it back on track. Whatever, but I don't even know. But also know that you're not alone. I know we have to, you know, kind of reiterate this every time, but like that's why we started this podcast, to let you know that you're not alone, and you're not the only one listening. We got a few listeners, all right?
Yeah, thank you to all of you. We love you.
Yes, thank you. But like, also know that, you know, that you're really not alone, and I know it seems hard, but you got this.
Yes, absolutely. You're not alone, and if you are ever scrolling or even listening to this podcast and you see someone or you hear us and you're like, man, they have it all together. No, the fuck we don't.
I hope you don't think we got it all together.
No, we don't. We deal with, we deal with imposter syndrome. We deal with over analyzing. I deal with a negative mindset really bad. It's about the effort you put into just rewiring and keep pushing, because eventually changes will be made. Eventually you won't be so quick to go to these toxic habits or these past versions of yourself. Eventually you will grow forward to the person you are trying to become.
Absolutely.
And so in case some of y'all are taking notes, I'm just going to hit this real quick with the numbers 1 through 8, because I know there might be one of you on here like, wow, what were the actual 8 in between all that talking? 1, a belief in something greater than yourself. 2, your relationships. 3, exercise and movement. 4, sleeps, naps, proper rest. 5, nourishment. 6, your purpose. 7, nature exposure. 8, meditation. So, like I said, don't get crazy with it needing to be perfect and all 8 all the time, but definitely keep these in mind for whenever you are feeling kind of off. And if you don't have any of these practices, I highly encourage you trying to incorporate them and picking them up and seeing what works for you, what doesn't, leaving behind the different ways you can do all of these things, and just really finding your own path and journey that serves you best.
Absolutely.
But that's what we have for you on today's episode. Please send and share to anyone you might think would enjoy this or needs to hear. And of course, feel free to leave us comments and whatever you want to do to interact with us. We love hearing from y'all on the Instagram page.
Yeah. And we're very grateful for you always, always, always.
Yes, guys. And we'll catch you next time.
Bye. Thank you for listening and being part of this process. We are so grateful to have you guys alongside this journey with us. If you resonated with this episode, please share it on your platforms and tag us at Detox Your Habits. We would love to hear your insight and any downloads you received when listening today. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast and leave a review letting us know what you'd like to hear next.